Hello everybody, this is a Lamley unboxing slash showcase slash preview. We've got brand new Fast and Furious. I'm excited to open this case up. Just arrived from Mattel. This is the M case. I don't know what number mix that is. All I know is there are, I believe, 2 new castings in here, if I'm remembering correctly, or 1, I don't remember. Last one had the Lamborghini LM02, the Koenigsegg, and the Roadrunner. That was an awesome case. 3 new models, which I was not complaining about. But this one, I think, has one of the most anticipated models for, well, I think it's in general for the Hot Wheels collectors. But I would also say the Fast and Furious collectors. This is where, like, Fast and Furious, like, passion meets... just like what I like about Fast and Furious, you know, I've said it every time I've done a showcase, is that, yeah, 2 new castings. Every time I've done a showcase, kind of 2.5 actually. Every time I've done a showcase, I always say, well, I love the Fast and Furious line because while I could care less about the movies, and I don't want to say I could care less, they're just not my favorite. I appreciate them because we get so many cool castings, and there may be the best example ever is this one, but there's a model that is super cool on its own, but so significant in the Fast and Furious universe that Hot Wheels collectors have been like, win, win, win. It's now. All right, let's get to it. Let's do the unboxing portion. We have 2 carry forwards or repeats. Carry forwards, as Mattel would say, repeats, as the rest of us would say. This is the Porsche 911 Carrera RS 3.8. It was released a couple years ago. Don't know if we've seen it since in any other form, but we do get it as a second for those that missed it. Art's fabulous. Tokyo Drift is from what this is from. There's the other models. We'll get to that in a little bit. There is that if you want it. So that is the first one. 2 of those, of course. There's going to be repeats, obviously no chases in here. Next one, Lancer Evolution 4, right? Lancer Evo 4. This casting was made for Fast and Furious, but from what I understand, and by the way, excuse me for my cracking voice, I'm still getting over a cold. And we'll get to this when we open this up, but I guess the nose of this car has been modified for premium by Ron Wong, our premium guru. He wanted to, I don't know if he wanted to or needed to modify the nose here for this car. So we'll get into that. So when I said it's like 2.5 new models, that's what I'm talking about. This one moves from basic range or basic-ish range, kind of Silver Series, to premium with a slightly different casting. And I need to look for, I don't know if I have the original of this one to compare, but we will see if I do. So that goes over there. Obviously 2 of those. And here is the one I was talking about. This is the When Are You Gonna Do It Mattel casting, and it is finally here. It's called here the 1993 Honda Civic Coupe EXEJ1, but we all know it as the Heist Civic. They might as well have just taken one of these repeats and just added a third, because obviously the Heist Civic comes in 3s and we only have 2, so you're gonna have to kind of find one set, buy those, and then get the 3rd if you want to do a diorama set with the Heist Civic. But it is here in black. I cannot wait to open this one just because it's a cool car in general, like I always say. But it, oh man, in Fast and Furious lore, this is as good as it gets. With all the other stuff that's being done, the 3 Heist Civics, the only thing it doesn't do is light up in the bottom, right? So we'll get to that. Very excited about that. And of course, the art totally makes sense. Fast and the Furious, of course, the original. I didn't say where this one's from, Tokyo Drift as well. So put that over here. 2 of those should have been 3. That's okay. And then here is the other new casting. That now this goes back to the OG of why I like Fast and Furious. Toyota Chaser JZX100. The Chaser is here, finally. Chasers have needed to be done by Hot Wheels. Ron has wanted to do a Chaser. You just use that budget for Fast and Furious. You use that licensing. You take where all those dollars are and you make yourself a Chaser. This deco, what's it from? Tokyo Drift as well. I could do without it. This is where I go, I could care less about this. It's like the Supra and Orange. I don't care about that deco. I know it has some meaning for the Fast and Furious. I don't want to belittle that, so I won't. But for me personally as a collector, I'm just waiting for the second version, but the casting is here. Give me a white one, give me a black one, give me a red one, give me them nice and clean, and I'm going to be thrilled. But we'll focus on the casting here. It does look nice with the chrome 10 spokes. Looking forward to opening that up. And then finally, the last repeat is the Lamborghini Gallardo LP5 70-4 Super Leggera. When you're fighting a cold, that's a lot to tire out the throat. It's in that kind of gold is that obviously the color. For us Hot Wheels fans, we could even say it's almost a Spectre Flame gold, but it is gold. Totally plain too. It doesn't have the deco on the side. I don't think the other one did as well. I think this is a full-on repeat. We can do the compare and contrast. I always say I'm going to do it when I do the videos, and then I pull out the cars. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. If it's a little different, it's a little different, but it's essentially the same thing. And obviously, two of those, and they look good. It's a cool model, and for those that missed it, I'm sure they'll be happy to get it. But folks are going to be happy about this one. Folks are going to be happy about this one. Folks are going to be stoked about this one. So let's get into the studio. Let's get these opened up, and let's have ourselves a car show. I think I got a good idea. All right, let's get to it. All right, let's get to it. Got a cool car show at the end. One you're going to help me on. You'll see why here in a little bit. But let's just get right to opening these up. Set of 5, 2 of them are repeats or carryovers, depending on who you are. If you're Mattel, it's a carryover. If you're a collector, it's a repeat. If you're a new collector, it's an awesome. A Porsche and a Lamborghini, no complaints there. Let's get to the Lamborghini Gallardo LP5 70-4 Super Leggera. If you wonder why it's always so long, it's because Lamborghini asks for it. There is no difference in these models, these two at least, from their previous releases. They've both been released within the last year or so, but true to what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to open them up. Here is the gold Lamborghini Super Leggera. What was the movie? What was it from? There's that. Fast 10, right? Right? And I always say I don't remember what it's. I feel like I've seen the movie. That's the one with John Cena in it, I think. Anyway, I don't remember what it was from, but it's exact repeat. It's a gold Lamborghini Super Leggera, no trim on the side, and the same wheels as well. So no difference. I mean, cool casting. If you didn't get this before, it's pretty rad. They basically use Spectre Flame paint to give it the gold look, and I think that's pretty awesome. This one, Porsche 911 Carrera RS 3.8. I'm hoping to see this show up in Car Culture, or what is this from? Tokyo Drift. Car Culture, or Boulevard or something in a new deco, because we've only seen this as far as I can remember. Unless I don't think it's even that convention. There's that convention model in Malaysia, Singapore. I don't think it's this casting. I could be wrong. But it's only been seen in Fast and Furious. It was released 2 years ago, I believe, in a Fast and Furious mix as a new model. So pretty sweet. And it was the nose in the artwork. So if you want to put those together, you definitely can. Here it is very quickly. Exactly the same casting. If there is a slight difference, it might be a shade. It might be something else, but nothing significant for our research purposes. It's essentially there. You can look at it. I mean, it's really nice. And, as I've said, and I will continue to say, we get castings like this because of the Fast and Furious budget, because Universal works with Hot Wheels and they're able to get this whole budget. So no complaints. Now let's see this casting in another line. That'll be pretty rad. I'm looking forward to that. But for now, we have 2 silver versions. Now this is where it gets interesting. Obviously, the Heist Civic is what we're going to be most interested in. But let's talk about the Lancer Evo 4, right? And we'll compare. I actually went in and I looked, and I actually do have this casting. It was originally done for the Fast and Furious, like, mid-tier line. And from what I understand from Ron, this has been done differently. So we're going to, not only to get the metal chassis for premium, but he changed the nose just a little bit, and we're going to figure out what that is. This one is from Tokyo Drift as well, and I see no need to have that basic one after opening this one. This one's cool. By the way, just so you know, the Porsche, we're waiting 2 years for them to put it to use for its second version. This one's already getting its second version, like, right away in Ronin Run. We'll do this showcase here soon enough, but there it is. There's your narrative for Fast and Furious for me. I could care less about this deco. Don't like it. But it's true to the movie. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But look how nice that casting looks in its Ronin run form. Okay, we'll talk about that later. All right, Lance Revolution. Let's just open it up. We want to do the compare and contrast, get it on the turntable. Really happy to see this one go premium, obviously because of the Ronin run version. And this one looks, this does look good. I don't want to say I dislike them. I just, these Fast and Furious unique decos are not, they're not my favorite, but I'm just filling time. Here it is. Let's talk about the nose. All right, so, it's pretty obvious. Essentially the same. I mean, obviously more detail for a premium than a basic, right, in terms of deco, but it's pretty obvious right out of the gate. I'll go up close. This one, the chassis is plastic and it has this kind of lip on it, right? So it basically shifts down and then below the casting to give it that low hung look. What I think Ron did, more true to the casting, is he had the body actually wrap around the front, giving it probably a more proportioned nose. This one does sit lower, the basic, over the... but this is probably more true to the actual car, is my assumption. You can see that. I mean, maybe actually he just kept it as is, right? This one sits super low. I think he just removed it. Because that looks about the same, doesn't it? The noses. I can go super up close. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty much the same, just with this chin removed. And we'll just, for fun, yeah, this is definitely the premium version. So, okay, all right. So he's removed it. I mean, we'll have to see what Ron says. I'll ask him about it. I think it's the proportion. It's more true to the car, and we know that's how Ron is with his. And so, yeah, so there it is. Let's put this one on the turntable so you can see it. We'll get a better sense of the casting. It has metal spoiler. We'll get a better sense of the casting when we see the Ronin Run version, but everything else is the same. Obviously, metal chassis, metal body. This one gets the lower profile wheels, and I think looks really nice. And again, the Evo is such a favorite that getting this premium version, they'll put it to very, very good use moving forward. Let's talk about these two models. Toyota Chaser GZX 100. So excited. Again, this is the other evolution of the Fast and Furious. This is the other explanation. Wow, what a casting. Cannot wait to see it. Wow, what a terrible debut deco for it. But I'm fine. If we see it later in the year or next year in a car culture mix, and I'm sure we will, just straight red or white or black with these 10 spokes, I will be totally fine. If this is all we're going to have of it, we won't. But if we're not, we will definitely get more versions of this casting. But Fast and Furious is the gateway to getting a Chaser in the Hot Wheels lineup. No complaints. No complaints at all. And you're like, yeah, but you're just complaining right now. I guess I am. All right. Okay, let's, before we put it on the turntable, let's just have a look. I mean, this is fabulous. The Chaser, it's kind of square, low slung look. It's great. This black front bumper and the black wheel wells and then this black stripe, it kind of hides the look a little bit, which is a little unfortunate. It truly is. It just is. I don't remember the car. Oh, I should probably look. Tokyo Drift as well. So I assume this look is true to the car in the movie. The body itself, that's what I'm really trying to extract here, is how does the body look without these stripes and all these other details, and it looks fabulous. So I'm just going to wait very patiently for a new version of this. This will go into the Fast and Furious collection. I collect all of the Fast and Furious premiums outside of repeats because I think they're very relevant premium castings. And so this one goes in there, and obviously this Toyota Chaser, anything they release, definitely going in the collection. And so I will put it in there for sure. All right, let's get those all put together, and let's talk about the star of the show. The 1993 Honda Civic Coupe EXEJ1, or better known in Fast and Furious lore as the Heist Civic. I said it in the unboxing. They could have, I don't think they would have gotten any complaints from collectors if they put 3 of these in there and just maybe took that Lamborghini and just included one. Because this is pretty fabulous. Now, this one hits all the marks, right? For the Fast and Furious fans, you've got yourself one of the iconic models of the franchise. For Honda Civic fans or Honda fans, you're getting an epic Civic, just right down the alley of, I think, why people love Hondas. And then for Hot Wheels collectors, you're getting a fabulous jet black 93 Honda Civic Coupe, which I think fits perfectly as well. So this is just so welcome on all fronts. And I think the question is, how come it took so long, right? So let's get this one open. While I'm opening it, I've asked, and I want you to leave comments. I'm going to pull out a few castings for the car show with this Civic. This will be the talk of the video, right? I assume I had to go back in YouTube and actually watch the 2 scenes with these Civics from, in case you didn't know, the original Fast and Furious. And they are great scenes. So let's just take a look at it up close. It actually gets hidden. It's nice to have it open because it actually gets hidden in this darker card back. And when you just look at it from a silhouette standpoint, this is awesome. What a great, great model. The spoiler, I think, is aftermarket, right? And there's a few other aftermarket elements to it. But that's a pretty standard, pretty great silhouette for that Civic Coupe. And, right before I think about the EX Civic, we actually owned one when we were newlyweds, Ms. Lamley and I. And just right after, I think the generation after this one. The spoiler's plastic, which allows them to make it pretty crisp in terms of Hot Wheels standards. It's jet black all around. There's no other Fast and Furious markings or anything, so this is just a great casting in general. The 10 spokes look awesome. Yeah, this is a winner through and through, and like I said, hits every mark. And, we'll talk about Honda in just a second as part of the car show, but let me ask you a question first. This is what I want your help with. I put this here, right? And I'm so happy to have a Honda Civic Coupe. I know Honda fans are the same. Hot Wheels collectors are going to be really excited about this one. We know it's not going to stay on the pegs for more than 2 seconds. If it even makes it to the pegs, we'll all be ready to snag it, all the collectors. It's going to be a very popular model, undoubtedly. But where does this fit for you Fast and Furious fans? Where does this fit in terms of iconic cars of the franchise? Those scenes, those heist scenes are pretty iconic, zipping under the truck and everything. But there's a lot of iconic cars. And so I pulled out a few, and I could get this wrong. In fact, I asked some people, and some they agreed with most of my choices, but some they said there's probably better than others. But I pulled out some. I want to know, A, where this fits among those that I pulled out, and B, what other cars from the Fast and Furious franchise you would include as icons. So, of course, I had to start with the Black Charger, Dom's Black Charger from the original, which did a drag race, of course, with Paul Walker. Can't remember Paul Walker's character's name, and I'm going to be murdered for it. I'm just blanking off the gate, or out of the gate, but those two, I know that those would be included, the Supra and Dom's Charger. I figured from the original mixes, I think the R34 Skyline in silver with the blue trim. I even thought maybe Paul Walker's second R34, the blue one, might be included as an icon from the Fast and Furious franchise. Mona Lisa. That one was in the very first mix. We've seen it in several forms, but the Mona Lisa seems to come to mind. And then most of the cars, I probably should have pulled out the RX-7, but I thought the cars from the original movie, and this one is the second version because I thought the wheels were better. So you've got the Mitsubishi Eclipse, the S14, and there was some argument on whether this S14 should be considered a Fast and Furious icon. The Jetta, which I've got to put right here. Here, we'll go down a little more. And of course the R33, all with, very unique decos and things. Then I thought of the Racer's Edge shop truck, That seemed to be one from the original. And then the S2000, I can't remember the character's name for this one. But this one seemed to be one that that folks consider an icon of the Fast and Furious franchise. I want to know what others you would consider the icons, but is this a good addition? Would you consider this one? It is definitely outside of maybe the blue R34, and maybe the blue R34, and maybe the Black Charger is maybe not as considered the icon of Fast and Furious, but am I getting it right there? Am I getting it right? What else would you add? And maybe there's even like, if I'd asked this a year ago, I think would the Honda Civic from the heist scenes be the first car considered, like why they haven't done it already? And is there others that you'd like to see them do? That's the first question, and I guess that's a car show right there. Where does the Civic fall with other icons of the Fast and Furious franchise? I want to know that answer. But I've also got another car show you for, but let me clear this out first. All right, here's the actual car show that I was thinking of. And this is going to be an ongoing theme because I don't think we're going to be ditching this topic when I do the next car culture mix as well. Because if you know, just a few days ago, I did a showcase on the Honda set, right? The diorama set with the Honda truck. And if you remember, they did the NSX. They had the Civic Type R in plain white, and then of course the new casting was the S2000 20th anniversary. We did that showcase, and with the real dominant car in this set being a Honda, and with the dominant set in Ronin Run, I gotta move the camera up, being another Type R, and what's being dubbed the Hype R, of course, Chase. We'll be doing more Honda coverage with this set as well. So I'm going to keep it up. And we've got, don't worry, I've even got a different Honda car show for that video once we do it. But I thought we'd go into Hondas and talk a little bit about, I think, like trying to see what generations of Hondas have been represented. Civics, I'm sorry, not just Hondas, but Civics by Hot Wheels. And we'll go through these fairly quickly. And then we'll see where this one fits. So, first one I had to pull out. I pulled this one from Japan Historics, but we have the one that's in the Team Transport. We also have, there's been basic versions, and this is also Super Treasure Hunt, like at the moment in the M case. But this one's the, if we look at the chassis, make sure we're getting all these right, 73 Honda Civic Custom, but it is a 73 Civic, so we put that one. That one is represented. I think that might be the first gen Civic. Now, when I think of old Civics, I think of those sedans with the rack on the trunk, the luggage rack on the trunk. We've not seen that represented. I'd love to see Matchbox do that one, but if Hot Wheels wanted to do it, I'm not complaining. So then we have to skip quite a few years, and then I think the next Civic would be this one, generation-wise, right? And I just have one of each casting. This is the Honda Civic EF. This would be represented, what, late 80s? Mid to late 80s on this Civic. This is my favorite of this one. Has not gone premium yet, which is surprising to me, but this teal one is fabulous. And of course, that Civic is one of the iconic silhouettes when it comes to Honda Civics. Then I think after that, and if I have these out of order, please correct me, but I hope I've got it right. There's the EG Civic, right? And I think the EG Civic, I pulled out the Hello Kitty. You could go with the Fast and Furious in yellow. There's several versions of this one. There's a Boulevard version of this one, but I really like the Hello Kitty version of this one from Modern Classics in Car Culture. So there's that casting. And then I think that, well, I guess we could also add the custom that they did as a Ryo Asada tribute, this like drag, this custom drag Civic, because this is also an EG. Right, and I wonder what the actual name is on this one. Yeah, just Honda Civic Custom as well. They don't include that in there, but obviously this one's been modified. But this one would go in there too as part of that generation. And then my assumption is that the next one, if I look at this, would be the 93 Civic Coupe. So we would add this one right there. So, yeah, I'll just give it another close-up. And you can just base it on the nose of that car, right? You've got this similar nose. So I think that this is of the same generation. And then if we continue on, we've now got the hatchback and the coupe. So we move on to this generation. We just showed it as part of the Honda set. Give you the chassis on this one. 99 Honda Civic Type R, the EK9, which has obviously been very popular. We've seen it in several. It's also one of the most popular super treasure hunts of all time, the Gold Nugget. So that one goes in there. We've got several versions of that one. I just used the basic first edition. And then I think even though, you know, these have all been produced at various times. Like this one was produced before that one, which was produced after that one, which was produced, this one was produced after this one. So it's I'm just going by actual sequence of the generations of the actual cars. So I think we go with the hatchback here, and then we'd add same generation, and I go from the old Boulevard, and I add this Civic, which we have several versions of, but the only one I have is this one, technically. We'll get to it in a second. This one is from the original Boulevard. I think the name is on this one. Oh, it's not. Oh, there it is. Honda Civic. But it's of this same generation as the EK. So that one goes right there. It's a little rudimentary. But that Civic was then modified by Hot Wheels, considered the same casting, and we get it right here. Not to be confused with that one, but this is the modified Honda Civic SI. So the SI casting, we'll revisit the SI here in just a second. So the SI casting coupe, which might be, this one might share the EX that I was telling you about that I had earlier. That one, same generation. It's just an updated version of that casting. So that one goes right here. Still in sequence, right? I think I am. SI again. So now we go all the way back to 2006 for this casting. I could have gone with the green one. And, but okay, you know what? And there's something else I'm thinking of just a second, because you guys are probably remembering one that I forgot. And anyway, this is the SI casting, the more updated Civic after these generations, that more rounded front and back end. So that SI bracket from 2006, I think that one would fit right about here. And then we go to the 3 Type Rs that have been produced in the last few years. I'll show you the chassis here. This one, 2016 Honda Civic Type R. This generation with that kind of almost a shark, I wouldn't call it a shark nose, but you've got that Civic. It's been out for a few years. When was this one produced? What's the year? 2016 as well. So it was current to the time. Then soon after, a couple years after, we saw this Type R produced. We'll look at that chassis. 2018 Civic Type R. That one was also made in 2018, so they're keeping current. And then just, was it last year? Ron brought in the 2024 Honda Civic Type R. And we've only seen this one in spoon livery twice, right? In Boulevard and then in the 2-pack. So that one goes right here. And you're saying to yourself, you're on it, John. You might have it right, and I hope I do, but you're forgetting one. And I know I am, and I'm going to show it to you right now. But before I do, I'm not trying to be dramatic. I just forgot, and I'm remembering mid-video. Well, we'll take the chase out of this. Where does this one go? 07 Honda Civic Type R. So it goes, if this is the SI, I believe it's going to fall after this SI. So if we move it here and here, it's going to fall right about here, which this was the Japanese release of this car. And then there was the European, the more egg-shaped. And we'll talk about that when we do that showcase. But one other one, I know exactly where it is. Yep. We'll save it. But, so I'm going to move this back. I bought these two and I totally forgot. There's the original of the SI, which we can talk about later. And the one I did forget is this Type R. Now they just mark it as the Honda Civic Type R. I will show you the oh, it just says Honda Civic on the chassis. This goes all the way back 23 years. So I'm guessing it's going to fall, I'm going to have to figure out where that one's going to fall. Maybe somewhere right about there. But I'll get that all done for the next showcase because I think we'll be talking Type R when we get into Ronin Run. So I'll put that one off to the side. So there's your generations of Civics. Some Type R's mixed in, some not. Doesn't matter because this one is This one is not a Type R. This is just the coupe, and it's fabulous, and it fits nicely with this family of Civics that we're seeing form beautifully. We're close to having everything. I mean, there's obviously a lot of different versions of these, but when it comes to the generations represented, I think we are in pretty good shape. You guys tell me what you think about this. I like it. I like it. I'm so excited about the Heist Civic, and I'm really glad that we can all come together, whether we're Honda fans or Hot Wheels collectors or Fast and Furious fanatics. We can all agree that this one was due, and we're so excited that it's finally here. You guys tell me what you think. Thanks, everybody. And I want to know about those icons. Bye!